Hi, and welcome everybody. Welcome to lesson 6. Today we are going to be talking about focusing on what matters. We're going to be focusing on the things that are important to you, that give you a sense of purpose and meaning in your life. And we're going to be doing this through talking about values, discovering what those are. And then we're going to wrap up with our skill today, which will be noticing breathing. So here we go. Let's get started. And of course, as always, we're going to check in with the autonomic ladder, have a moment or two to just check in with your body and see, where are you on this ladder? Are you feeling safe and connected? Feeling a bit maybe mobilized and agitated, anxious? Or are you feeling a bit numb and collapsed and shut down? So just take a moment to check in and jot down, notice and name what's happening, writing down the sensations, the thoughts, the feelings, and the urges or behaviors that come with this. So just taking a moment to do that now. Okay, so last time we talked about all the thoughts, feelings, and body sensations that we didn't have control over, that we often struggle with. And today we're going to be focusing on behavior. Focus here on the things that we can control, the things that help us give a sense of purpose and meaning in our lives. Before we do that, we're going to do a little thought experiment to kind of explore this concept. I'm going to imagine that I could wave a magic wand and you're no longer upset or concerned with COVID-19. So I wave my magic wand and the idea of what's happening in the outside world just kind of slides off, rolls off your back. It's like no bother at all, okay? The only caveat is you still have to stay at home. So I wave my magic wand and you're no longer struggling with the fact that you have to stay at home, but you still do have to stay at home. So you still have to do all the tasks of staying at home, working from home, taking care of your children. The only difference is you're not struggling with this anymore. It's not really bothering you anymore. So if I wave my magic wand and this were the case, just imagine you were to focus on how you would spend your time. What are the things that you would be doing if you were no longer struggling? What types of things? And to help jog your memory, jog your mind, you can think about the things that you enjoy as far as self-care. Maybe you'd be cooking a nice meal or doing some yoga or meditating or taking a warm bath. Maybe you'd be focusing on fitness, taking a run or a walk, going for a bike ride, working out. You might also be focusing on other things, hobbies that you enjoy, like dancing or gaming or writing, journaling, maybe listening or making music, reading, photography, or gardening. Think about all the things that you enjoy that you can do from home right now that give you a sense of purpose and meaning. And then we're going to be writing a list of these activities. So right now, just write down for yourself to remind yourself after you're done with this, listening to this video, to write down a list of the activities that matter to you most. Okay, so write that down at the top of your paper. The activities that matter to me most that I'm still able to do while being at home. And now let's focus on the people in your life. Who are the people that matter to you, and how would you be spending your time with these people? So if you have a partner, how will you be spending time with them? If you have pets, how will you be spending time with those pets? And if you have children, think about the ways in which you can spend time with them, like going for a walk or spending some time with a one-on-one conversation. Maybe you're focused on homeschooling or just simply playing games and kind of getting outside and spending time with your family. And then think about friends. And if you're living alone, how do you still connect and stay in touch with your friends while you're at home? Right? So focusing on those things, on the people that matter to you and how you can still stay in touch with them. So now write down on the paper, a little bit further down, write down a list of the people and pets you're going to think about who matter to you most. So when you're done watching this video, you're going to write down the people and pets who matter to you the most and how you want to spend time with them during this period where we're isolated at home. And now we're going to shift to what type of person do you want to be? Who do you want to be in the face of this, right? So what type of values do you want to focus on during this time of crisis where we're all at home and we're all kind of doing this social distancing? And to help you, I'm going to give you a list of values, and you'll notice on this list there's all sorts of different types of values, and this is adapted from the values checklist, which was written by Russ, and you're going to find a link to that checklist in the documents in the description box of this video. But just to get you started, to start to think about what values are, those are the things that help you kind of go through your life, that give you purpose and meanings. Things like kindness, being flexible or patient, having compassion, being a caring, forgiving, adventurous person, all the different things that you see on this list. These are the things that help you feel like you matter and that you're providing things for other people that give you a sense of kind of meaning in your life. Okay, so these are the things that we want to be focusing on. So then you're going to write down a list of the values that matter to you. But before you do these things that I've asked you to do throughout this class today, I want you to first stop, because we need to talk about something really, really important. First, we need to talk about cheese. That's right, cheese. Because there are two ways to approaching cheese. Some of us will grab a hunk of cheese and we'll take a knife, a cheese cutter, and we will slice off a huge chunk, okay? While others may say, I'm gonna go slowly. I'm gonna slice off piece by piece by piece, little slices. Many will see the cheese and cut a huge chunk. And they'll say, okay, I see those things that you showed me, Debbie. I see that list. I see that list of things that I need to do, how I want to approach my friends, my family, myself in the face of this crisis. So I'm going to just make a huge to-do list. I'm going to write down all the things that I could be doing. I could be taking new online courses. I could be gaming. I could be dancing. I could be exercising. I could do a new fitness program. I'm just going to take off a huge chunk. Okay, some of you will do that. But what happens when you take this huge chunk and you try to shove it in your mouth? You bite off more than you can chew. What happens? What happens if you take this chunk, you bite off more than you can chew, and you shove it in your mouth? You risk choking. So what would happen if you were to take that same amount of cheese, but then approach it with one slice at a time? So each day you do one thing off that list. You spend time with yourself. Maybe you just today take a bath, and then tomorrow you go for a walk, and then the next day you spend some quality time with your loved one. And you space it out over time. Maybe you space it out in the same day, but you don't try to jam it all in at once. You just take off one slice at a time. What you will find is that over time, you have the same amount of cheese. So over time, all those slices, they add up and they help you. They help you over time. Instead of shoving in one big chunk, you just kind of pace yourself over time. And the reason why this is so important right now is because we're facing a crisis. It's kind of like if you were to break your leg and I were to ask you right now, well, why don't you just go train for a marathon? That would actually be ridiculous. That would be impossible. You wouldn't be able to do it. And you'd look at me like I were crazy. Like, why would you expect me to be able to train for a marathon when I have a broken leg? Well, this crisis that we're facing right now is kind of like that. You have a broken leg, metaphorically, right now. And there's no way it would be reasonable for me to ask you to train for a marathon. So instead of training for a marathon, I want you to take care of yourself in a way that when this is all over, when your leg has healed, you will then be able to go and start bit by bit, kind of generating some of that energy that you need to start training for the marathon. So every day that you write yourself a to-do list and you think about the things that you want to do and the things that I've just asked you to do, to think about the things that matter, the activities that matter, and the people that matter, and your values, I want you to ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now, is it a chunk or a slice? And remembering that right now you have a broken leg. So right now, all that you can do is take off one slice at a time. So that's my tip for you for today. And I hope that this has made sense and that you take your time to go through the list of things that you can be doing and the people that you can be doing them with, and that you keep slicing off a little bit every single day. So now I want to shift gears, and we're going to be doing our coping skill for today, which is going to be noticing breathing. And we're going to do this, of course, with ACE. We're going to acknowledge what's happening in the moment, what we're experiencing. We're going to come back to the body, ground in our bodies, and then we're going to engage with what we're doing, which will be focusing on the breath. So I'll ask you right now to get into a comfortable position. And I'm going to start with the bell, and then halfway through the exercise, I'm going to transition to our compassion exercise, and then I will end with the bell. So here we go. So taking a moment to settle in and notice the body, notice how you're sitting, perhaps in an upright position, perhaps you're laying down in bed. Just taking a moment to notice and acknowledge what's happening. And we'll start scanning through the body from the top of the head and scanning through and noticing the thoughts that are passing through the mind. Noticing any body sensations, noticing tension as you scan through the body. Scanning all the way through, noticing how you're breathing. Scanning through the body, and then as we reach the feet, seeing if you can press your feet in the ground, noticing, coming back to the body. And if you're sitting in a chair, noticing the weight of your body in the chair. And if you're lying in bed, just noticing the weight of the body as you connect with the bed and kind of grounding yourself within the body. And then tuning the focus of your awareness now to the breath. And if you find that tuning into the breath becomes difficult, some people find it anxiety provoking, then see if you can bring your awareness, you can replace the breath with noticing the sensation either in the hands or in the feet. So you can easily do this exercise by replacing the breath with hands or feet. Okay? And so each time I mention the breath, if you're using hands or feet, just replace that. Just when you hear breath, you hear hands or you hear feet. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on the sensations that arise as you breathe in and as you breathe out. So noticing sensations. And not trying to change the sensations, but simply observing and noticing if the mind becomes distracted with sounds or thoughts or other body sensations. And each time the body becomes distracted, seeing if you can come back. If your mind becomes distracted, just come back to the breath, even if it's just for a moment. And you may notice that you quickly get lost in thought or fantasy, seeing if you can notice that and bringing your awareness as best you can back to the breath. Noticing distractions and bringing the awareness back to the breath. And remembering that it's perfectly natural to get on a thought train, to get lost in thought or memory or fantasy. And that each time this happens, just gently redirect your awareness back to the breath. Noticing when the mind becomes distracted and bringing it back as best you can, even if it's just for a moment. And noticing how often the mind gets distracted and noticing if there's judgments about that. Seeing if you can just observe that happening and then coming back, even for a moment, back to the breath. You may notice you have to do this over and over and over again so that it becomes a dance between noticing that you've drifted and noticing the breath. Noticing you've drifted and noticing the breath. Back and forth, back and forth. And noticing if there's a struggle within your own mind between being pulled away by thoughts or pulled away by sensations and wanting to stay with the breath. Noticing if the mind and the body struggles. Simply observing that, what that looks like. Noticing any sounds that come up that distract and bringing your awareness back to the breath. And then in a moment, you'll hear the sound of the bell as our transition. Seeing if you can just stay with the sound as you hear it, as we transition into our compassion exercise. And now taking a moment, just imagine all the people that are caring for us right now, all the healthcare workers and the essential workers, the people at the grocery store, the people delivering food, the people delivering all of the essential equipment that we need, all the doctors and nurses, teachers, healthcare workers, cleaners, janitors, truck drivers, people that work at the grocery store and the pharmacies, people that are delivering things from factories. Thinking about all the people, the firefighters, the police officers, all the people that we need right now who are helping keeping our economy alive and going and helping us keep us safe in the face of this. And we are going to be sending all these people and even the people who I may have forgotten, including maybe you, maybe you're an essential worker that I've forgotten. And we're going to be sending compassion. May all the essential people of the world be safe and protected. And may all the essential people of the world be healthy and strong. And may all of the essential workers of the world live with ease and with kindness in this world. And noticing any thoughts or feelings that come up as you do this exercise, as you send this kindness and compassion to all the essential workers. And in a moment, you'll hear the sound of the bell and seeing if you can stay with the sound until you no longer hear it. And then when you're ready, you may open your eyes and come back to the room and focus. And just a gentle reminder today to focus on what you can control. And if you're a non-essential worker, please stay home. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.